Hey viewers, today I'm going to show you how to convert from a threaded fork to a threadless fork. This is probably the most frequent video request I get. Now what I think most people think they can do is simply pull out the old fork and install the new threadless fork. Maybe replace the headset. But the problem is that the most common size of fork on the vintage bikes had a 1-inch steerer tube. And the most common size of threadless fork has a 1 1/8 inch steerer tube. So this is physically larger. The problem is that the head tube that this fits into, so here's like the cup, this fits in there, and this is pressed in the head tube. See, there's enough room for this to go down there, and there's a little gap in between there. The problem is that the threadless is only slightly smaller than the inside diameter of the head tube that this fit into. So it doesn't even leave enough room for the cup, the walls of the cup to be pressed in there, and this leave a gap for this to be turned around. It just is not going to fit. There are a couple scenarios that you can do. There was an older size of threadless fork that had a 1-inch steerer tube. They're not common, but you can find them. So you can go from a 1-inch threaded steerer tube to a 1-inch threadless steerer tube. You also have to find a 1-inch headset and a 1-inch threadless stem. So that's one scenario. Another scenario is some older mountain bikes had oversized steerer tubes that were 1 1/8 inch. If you happen to have one of those mountain bikes, then you can go from the 1 1/8 inch steerer tube threaded fork to the 1 1/8 inch threadless steerer tube fork. You will have to go to the threadless headset and then just get a common 1 1/8 inch threadless stem. So those are the two scenarios that you can do. Okay, this is the bike I'm going to be using for my threaded to threadless conversion. It's going to be a 1 1/8 inch to 1 1/8 inch conversion because the forks that are on here have a 1 1/8 inch steerer tube. You can tell that by measuring the quill stem, which is about 1 inch in diameter. If it was a 1-inch steerer tube, then the quill stem would be about 7/8 inches in diameter. So, and here's the forks I have. I got some RockShox, got them pretty cheap. It's got the common 1 1/8 inch steerer tube on here. I'm going to probably have to convert it over to using V-brakes on the front here because this does not have the hanger for the cantilever brakes on there, so that's going to be one little wrinkle in here. So this should be pretty fun. I'm going to start off by removing the handlebars here. I'm going to have to replace the brakes anyway, so I'm just going to cut the cable here like that. Move this here. Move this here. And pull this out of here like this, and just kind of move this out of the way here. Now pull off the front wheel, just get it out of the way. Like that. Okay, so now I got my adjustable wrench here, and I'm going to remove this off of here. Got loosened. And got my hanger here, pull that off. And then move this. And I could probably just turn the fork here and hold the nut there. Pull that out of there and pull these bearings out of there like that. Okay, now I need to remove these cups. So I have my homemade cup remover tool, and I have a video on how this is made. So if you go out and check that. And so I slide this up here and then knock that out there. We'll flip the whole thing over and knock the other one out. Like that. Okay, so I have the threaded cups removed, and so now I'm ready to start installing my threadless headset. I bought an FSA threadless headset. It's 1/1/8 inch, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started installing that now. I need to press the cups into the head tube, and so I'm gonna be using my homemade cup pressing tool. I have a video on how I made this. And so I'm gonna start with the bottom one first. I'm gonna do one at a time. And I wanna put a little bit of grease around the cup here, just to kind of help it slide on a little smoother. Just kind of smear this around here, because it's gonna be very tight. And the cup's got a logo, so I'm gonna have the logo facing forward. And so I'm gonna put this up through here like this. And get the cup centered. Put my washers up here. And the trick is to try to keep it as centered, and you want to get this thing to go in as straight as possible. You don't want to go kind of crooked at all. And so the trick is to keep the tool as centered as possible. And it's still, you may still need to be kind of tweaking it a little bit. So I'll hold the nut down here with an adjustable wrench and get my wrench up here and slowly tighten this and press that on. And it's already starting to angle, so take your time doing this. So I'll kind of move this over just a little bit over to this side and try to get that side kind of pushed up a little bit and kind of try to get it straightened out a bit. This is just going to take patience and work. Now once you kind of got it part way in, usually the rest of the way will go in relatively straight here. So, see here. So I just need to get it pressed all the rest of the way in, and this is just really tight. A commercial tool probably would have been a little easier to get it straightened in, but it also is very expensive. And press it all until it's all the way onto the head tube there. Now I want to do the same thing with the top cup. Again, put a little bit of grease around on in here. Hopefully it'll help move on a little smoother than it would otherwise. And get that fitted on there. Get my press tool in place. Try to get it straight to begin with there, and then work on pressing it on. And the top cup went on much easier than the bottom cup. And so I get this so it's fully pressed on, and then remove my press tool. Okay, the new headset came with a new crown race, so I'm going to install that onto the fork here. So I just like slide this on here, and I have my homemade crown race setting tool made from a piece of PVC pipe, and I have a video on how I made this. So I just put this over here like this, and then use my wooden mallet, tap that down, and so now that's all set into place there. Okay, and here's the bottom bearings, and so I'm going to use my grease gun to inject some marine grease into the cage around the bearings, in between each of the bearings. Just inject there and pack the cage with grease. And I'm also going to put in some grease around the race here. And then I'm going to insert the bearings with the flat side of the cage facing up on this particular one, like that. And then here's the bearings for the top, and they're a little bit different. So, but I'm going to again pack the cage with grease. Just inject grease in between each of the bearings. And then put a little bit of grease around the race. And then these go in with the flat side of the cage facing up. So just kind of insert those like that. Okay, now I got this little dust seal, and then this is going to go on here, basically around the crown here. And then I can slide the fork up through the headset here. The bearings are already down there, and the bearings are already up here. So I slide that up here like this, and it turns nice and smoothly. Okay, now I'm ready to put the rest of the little parts on the top here. So there's a cone here, and like a little dust seal that goes on the top. So I'm going to slide that on there like this. Then there's the little wedge part. So that's going to slide over there like this. And that'll kind of hold that on there. That'll kind of get pushed down there like this. And so now I'm gonna have to put some spacers on here. So the stem's gonna be on here like this. So I'm gonna have to kind of fill this space down here with some spacers. So I have a variety of spacers here. Nice big thick one there. I need a little bit more space there. There. And that looks like about it. So I'll go ahead and slide this down onto the steerer tube like that. And then I can put this little cap on here, and then this will thread into the star-spangled nut that's already in the steerer tube. So I didn't have to install that. And then I'm just going to tighten down just a little bit. So now I'll tighten this down. I want it to be able to turn smoothly, but I don't want any play in the fork there. But I want to make sure that it turns smoothly, and I can actually loosen it up just a little bit. And that's about right there. And then I'm going to tighten down the clamp bolts here for the stem. And I can always readjust this later. So, but I'm just going to tighten them down tentatively now, so this kind of in place there. Like that. So now I need to be able to slide the old stem off the handlebars here, and there's just the one clamp bolt there, so I actually have to slide this off. In order to do that, I need to remove this grip. So my little trick for that is I usually take like a small Allen wrench. You can use something plastic if you got it, but something thin. Slide it underneath the rubber grip like this. And then I use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol. You can get this at your local drugstore. Just drip a little bit to get it underneath the grip, and that will act like a lubricant. I can pull this out now and just kind of turn this around, and that will make it slippery under there, and I can slide this off like that. Then I'm going to slide the shifter brake lever off of here. Then unclamp the stem here, just loosen this. And I can slide that off. Now I need to remove this front faceplate here from the stem. And I can place the handlebars in here, place the faceplate over here, and screw this on. And then I'm not going to tighten it all the way down yet until I get my other shift brake lever back on here, because if I tighten this down, the cable here may not reach far enough out to do that. So once I get that on there, then I'll kind of get it adjusted to where I want it to be, and then I'm going to clamp these down, get it straight and centered in there. Now before I clamp this down, I need to reinstall the grip so that I know where to clamp this down. So I'll just squirt in a little bit of the rubbing alcohol inside the grip, shake it around a little bit, and then slide this on, get that in the position. So now I can have this up against the grip and clamp that down and have it same angle as the other side, like that. Well, here it is, all done. I reinstalled the front wheel. I installed some V-brakes on here. I didn't show the process of that because it's really dependent on the kind of brakes you have, and goes beyond the scope of what I want to show in this video. But so that's what it looks like. I got like now threadless forks, headset, and stem, spacers, everything. Got everything installed here. I may install a travel agent for those V-brakes on there. They seem to work, but I'll have to see. Anyway, that is how to convert from a threaded fork to a threadless fork, headset and stem. Hope you found that useful or interesting. If you did, please click like on my video. I always appreciate getting likes on my videos. It helps me out. If you're not subscribed to my channel, click the big subscribe button and you'll see new videos as they come out. I'm always coming out with new videos on different stuff. And I'm also over on Facebook, RJ the Bike Guy. Go over there, like that page, and I post a lot of stuff over there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.